everybody, it's Charles, your hobby hero, and today I'm going to show you a CGC comic book order that I got graded in one single day. First, before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button down in the bottom corner. I do appreciate it. Put out regular contents about the hobbies I love the most. Now, this is not clickbait. This order was mailed to CGC September 6th. They received it on September 9th. They was logged into their receiving shipment on October 5th, went straight to grading, and actually mailed out later that evening on the 5th. Now, it'll actually show as on the 6th on this particular screenshot, but that was updated later that night. It was actually so fast, I received the email from them saying, we've got your comics and we're starting the grading process at 7:28 p.m. and received the email saying we've mailed your comics out at 7:30 p.m. Now, how do we do this? Are these all walkthrough? No, this is the standard submission at $22 per book. In addition, these were all a pre-screened order, which is supposed to add another 30 days of turnaround time to those orders. So a 25 book pre-screen order done in one day's time. Now, they did, I saw this comment that I'll post it up here that was listed on one of the CGC grading forums about CGC trying some new methods of intake and outtake of books, which could result in some quicker turnaround times for individual clients. I don't know if that's what happened with this particular order, but needless to say, I'm pretty happy about the one-day turnaround time. Now, this order has actually got some books that I pressed myself in it, so pretty excited about that, and a lot of books that are going into my personal collection as well. So without further ado, let's see our one-day turnaround order from CGC. Now, these will all be pre-screened 9/8, I believe, so I'm not going to hide the grade on these. First one up is... Alright, so we've got a Walmart exclusive. This is the Amazing Spider-Man 62. Now, it's not the first appearance of this suit, but I do believe it's the first cover appearance of this suit, which actually stuck around for a couple of issues, which was surprising to me. I did like the suit, I like the idea of the suit, but as we all know in the Spider-Man universe, the classic red and blue is the one that always will survive. I've got a couple of these in here, so that's probably what we've got coming up next. We've got another 9/8. And another 9/8. Alright, next one up here. Another Walmart exclusive. This is the Black Cat Annual. This has got a number of first appearances in there. I don't know how substantial they will be. There are a couple of tie-ins with the Infinity. Really just love the cover as far as the Black Cat covers go. I actually opted for this one over the 1 in 25 of this book because I could not stand the cover of that particular book. Alright, next one here. Some of these are, again, so fast turnaround time that there aren't even comps listed for a lot of these yet because no one else has gotten theirs back from CGC yet because no one was sending these things in at that fast of a turnaround time. Case in point, we've got War of the Bounty Hunters, Jabba the Hutt, the variant. First appearance of the Bounty Hunter here, and this is her first cover appearance. This is why I opted for the variant rather than the cover A. Got that in a 9/8. And a second copy in a 9/8. Again, I'm pretty big on any new bounty hunters coming right now with the Book of Boba Fett just around the corner. I would venture to guess some of these new appearances are going to show up in either that or Mandalorian when that next season rolls around as well. Alright, next one up is a big one. This is Web of Spider-Man #1. This is the Walt Disney World cast exclusive. It's also the first appearance of Harley Keener in the comic books. We saw him in the last bit of the Infinity War. This book, I have a lot of long-term expectations for it, as Harley Keener is also now a center point in the attraction at Walt Disney World. So he's not going anywhere anytime soon. The fact that he was included in the funeral for Tony Stark, Also leads me to believe that they have more stuff in line with him at some point in the MCU. So I'm pretty stoked about this particular cover, especially, and it's just a great looking cover and a Spider-Man book to boot. All right, next one up. This is one for my PC here. This is Invincible 110. This is actually out of my personal collection of Invincible from years ago. A number of the key issues in that series have just really gone up in value, so I've encapsulated a number of them, some of which are in this order. Some are coming in future orders. This is a controversial issue. This is the issue where Anissa forces herself onto Invincible himself, and you know, just a lot of speculations going into how this story is going to be handled in the series. For one of the later print run or issues in the print or the overall series, this particular book has really been skyrocketing here lately, and happy to get this one back in a 9.8. All right, continuing with Invincible, we've got Invincible 115. Nothing super significant about the insides of this book, but this is a first cover appearance of Battle Beast, whose first appearance was back in issue 19, but just an amazing cover. This character is super popular. I actually listed him in one of the top 10 undervalued books, and this is one of the books for that one. Battle Beast, even after just one season, has a bit of a cult following online, and I think as the character gets fleshed out, as Kirkman gets to make him the character he always wanted him to be, I think we have a lot of upside potential for this particular cover, just because it really just displays how awesome Battle Beast and powerful Battle Beast really is. All right. Okay, I know this one already because it's a wraparound cover. We're super stoked about this one. This is X-Men number 350. Found this one in a dollar bin, and it looked really clean. If you know anything about these old 90s cardstock foil covers, the spines, you can't do anything with them. Once they're damaged, they're damaged. This one, the spine looked good, surface looked good, because, like I said, if there's anything on the surface, you cannot press these covers out at all. It is an amazing Gambit cover, very hard to get in a 9.8. With the wraparound, got Rogue, some of the other classic X-Men on the back as well. Beautiful, gorgeous, probably one of my favorite covers all time. 9.8, super excited about this one. All right, we've got another Walmart exclusive here. We've got Silk number 1. Again, she's got her project coming around just the corner here. I still think a lot of Silk keys, minus maybe her very first appearance, are still very undervalued. Again, the Silk number 1, which is the original Sin 4, not everyone's going to have that in their budget, and they're going to be looking for affordable Silk keys when that show comes out. Your average consumer is not going to be willing to drop a couple $1,000s on a comic book, but they may drop $100 to $200 on one that has a nice cover that displays the character, some kind of significance with a number 1 on it, or at least some kind of minor key involving that character. Next one up, speaking of projects in production, we've got Kaiju Score number 1. This is the 1 in 15 cover, I believe. Found this one at my local comic shop in the back bin. Looked really clean. Figured I'd go ahead and grab it and get it slabbed. We got a 9.8. Very happy to have that one on there too. Anxious to see how the movie turns out on that one as well. Alright, we've got another Invincible. Invincible Returns. This is a little known key here. This is the first appearance of the main antagonist in this whole entire series, which is Thrag, but it doesn't fall in the regular Invincible storyline. It's not that it's not in its continuity, but as you can see, this is Invincible Returns number 1, which just kind of popped up in the middle of the series. Again, it's definitely ties in, but since it's not in that main run, a lot of people will miss it when they're looking for keys. This guy is huge. Whenever he shows up, these books have already started to skyrocket. I was lucky enough to, 1, have some in my PC, and 2, picked up a number of them before the price jumped up on them. I know we've got several of them in this order as well, so I'm excited these one came back at a 9.8. And a little upset, though, the books that I've listed so far, for whatever reason, in CGC's database, weren't available for the Invincible special label that they have right now. I sort of understand the Invincible return since it's not technically an Invincible book, but a lot of those later issues just didn't pull up on it to get that label added. So unfortunately, those won't have them. But my next submission that comes in should have those on there. So stay tuned. So we got another Invincible returns, lower print run, second print. Only difference in the cover is obviously the yellow print versus the blue print. Got a couple of these picked up as well. Again, another 9/8. Happy to have that one. Got another one, second print, 9/8. I think as of right now, the second prints are actually going for a little bit more than the first prints, just because the print run's so much lower on those. All right. Okay, we've got Web of Spider-Man. This is just the regular cover A of the Web of Spider-Man #1 for that Harley Keener. So it's not designated on the labels as of right now as far as it being a first appearance. Whether or not they'll add that, I'm sure they will down the line. But this is one I just bought off of the rack. Little cover A. I did not get any of the cover Bs that I know of. I might be showing you one here soon. Okay, we got another cover A here. Alright, next one up. Okay, we've got, Barbaric #1, cover A. Great story. I know if you've watched the channel, you've seen my reviews each time one of these issues comes out. Very little to no complaints about this series as a whole. And just a great looking cover A on that one. We got some, classic McFarlane Spider-Man. I was actually really hoping to snag one of these. If you know, we did the, what's the Caped Heroes for their mystery boxes, and they had a ton of these Spider-Man 1s signed by Todd McFarlane. I was really hoping to grab one of those boxes. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining what I did get in those boxes. I'm sure if you've watched the channel long enough, you've seen those huge hits out of those. But it did make me realize this was a hole in my collection heart that I needed filled. Found this copy in a back bin. Looks super clean. I'm going to pay $10 for it. Looked like a 9/8. Was a 9/8. So super excited that this one is in my collection. Got Amazing Spider-Man #70. This is Peach Momoko. Again, hit or miss on some of her newer covers, but it was Green Goblin and Peach Momoko. It was just a beautiful cover. Had to get it in a 9/8 and bought this one off the shelf. Snagged that 9/8 cover there. Alright. Got a Bad Idea comic book on here. Sleigh Bells. One shot. Again, this is another one for the PC. If you are interested in selling your Bad Idea comics, I do not recommend getting them slabbed for a couple reasons. One, the biggest reason somebody's going to want to buy this book is to read it, because you cannot read it if you do not own it. They're not available online, minus finding some pirated site where they've scanned in their copy and have sent that out. Like, there's not digital versions of these books. Physical versions of the books are the only way to read these books. Honestly, a lot of mine I sent in ones that I thought that were one-shots, and I don't reread a lot of one-shots. Fun covers, and then having the opportunity to possibly get a 9/9, just because these are shipped a little differently since they're an individual or independent distributor. The cardstock is really nice, so I'll try to get ones that corners are really good. If I can get a 9/9, I really want a CGC 9/9 in my collection. So if you see these pop up on the channel from time to time, that's a big reason why those will be in there. Again, you don't have to slab everything to sell, but if you are trying to sell those, it does not really add any value to put them in a slab, and can sometimes make them a harder book to move. Alright, well hey, I think I've got probably one of the first copies of this back as well. This is the Nice House on the Lake. This is the 1/25 second print on that book as well. So we got the Walter Flesh Tornado version on the cover there. Came back in a 9.8, so pretty excited about that But again, like I said, as of filming this, none of them had popped up. So we'll see. There's another one we got on here. This is the third printing, 1 in 10 ratio variant of Radiant Black #1. So pretty excited about these. There's actually a matching set for, I think, issue #3, which is not in this order. Was actually submitted before. This one actually needed to be pressed and cleaned, so it did not go in that same order. And lo and behold, this order got super fast tracked. So this one came back in before the other one actually did. So hopefully that one comes in at a 9.8 as well. And we can have a matching set up there. We actually have the non-ratio version of the third printing of that as well. So just side by side. One's black and white. One is the regular ratio print. So we've got, that is all for the slabs. We had one reject. So again, another 24 out of 25 submission. And again, I did press several of the books here. Not all of them needed it. So we'll see what got declined. See if we can figure out why it got declined. And if it's something I just didn't get out while pressing, or if maybe it's just not going to be a pressable defect after all. So we've got our second print, Canto #1. We've already had one on the channel in a 9.8. This one was bought at the same time, looked just as good. Let's see if we can figure out what is going on with it here. Well, there's a little indentation right in the middle of the front page. I can see that already. And looks to be an indentation on the bottom corner too. I don't know if that was there already, if just in shipping it kind of got jostled around. It does not appear to break color rather. There is a color breaking spine tick on it though. The pretty decent crease out from it, and top corner's kind of fudged up too, looks like. I'm gonna go with this was probably a victim of just a rough shipping adventure. Yeah, his back corners up here has got dulled up and whitened as well. I just can't imagine I missed all of that stuff. There's some spine stresses on this issue. So, I mean, it happens even with the safest shipping that you can put on there. I mean, if a box gets hit, you know, just like a football player wearing a football helmet, you know, it protects the head, but the head still moves and the brain still moves inside the head. So, I mean, you can see on the board that it was shipped on. This top corner up here is all smashed in. So it's just possible that it dropped, got in there, and it was enough to push this against the inside of the Gemini and damaged it a little bit on that end there. So it is what it is. I'll go ahead and probably press it again just to see how much I can get out of it with that color breaking spine tick. It's still a possibility at a 9.8. But we'll see what it looks like after press, see if it's worth it. I may just end up selling it as a near mint condition book, because the 9.6 is definitely not worth the effort on that. But overall, very successful submission. And again, 1 day turnaround time. Let me know if you guys have been blessed with one of these 1 day turnaround times as well in the comment section below. Until next time though, guys, Hobby Hero out.